More than a dozen people are dead as strong storms submerge parts of Appalachia.
Certainly one of the worst that we've ever seen.
Now at 6:30, the latest as a new storm poses a threat to recovery efforts.
Plus, debt is increasing for Americans. How you can manage your money so you don't break the bank.
And in sports, the pressure is on for Ohio men's basketball after a heartbreaking loss. What coaches are doing to get back in the win column this week. Newswatch starts right now. Counties across southeast Ohio are under a flood warning as water levels rise in creeks and rivers across the region. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jack Green.
And I'm Allison Patton. This is what the Hocking River looked like today here in Athens. According to the National Weather Service, the Hocking is currently in action stage, topping out at roughly 18 feet deep. The river typically sits at 4 feet. Action stage means people need to take precautions for possible flooding. NWS says while the Hocking River is high, they expect only some flooding in wooded areas. Water levels are expected to start going down tomorrow.
In other parts of southeast Ohio, meteorologists say people need to be alert for high water, especially along the Shade River and leading in Raccoon Creek. They are reminding drivers especially to turn around and don't drown. The same system that dropped heavy rain here is also causing major flooding in neighboring Kentucky and West Virginia.
So far, 1 person in West Virginia and 11 people in Kentucky are dead as high water wipes communities off the map. This was the scene in Mingo and Logan County, West Virginia, where a state of emergency is in place for much of the southern part of the mountain state. You can see floodwaters in the area were high enough to submerge an 18-wheeler and several homes and buildings. Governor Patrick Morrisey says as of now, 2 people are still missing in the area.
Across the river in Kentucky, work to get people to safety continues. Governor Andy Beshear says over the weekend, emergency crews conducted more than 1,000 rescues in less than 24 hours. Beshear says while eastern Kentucky has some of the most dramatic flooding, high water is impacting the entire bluegrass state.
We have 340 roads that are closed right now. We think that is a record, and so this is going to be a major event that we're dealing with in the coming days for the emergency response, but then in the necessary rebuild afterwards.
Ohioans are doing their part in helping those caught in the flooding. Ohio Task Force 1 traveled to Kentucky yesterday and is working with rescue and recovery teams. As communities begin recovery efforts, a new winter storm is posing a major risk to crews.
States already reeling from deadly floods this weekend are now bracing for record cold temperatures. Tens of millions of Americans are under cold weather alerts as snow and rain push east from the plains. Our team of forecasters say wind chills could hit -50 near the Canadian border over the next couple days and below 0 in parts of Texas. Governor Beshear says this could make for a difficult situation as officials work on cleaning up from floods while also working with the snow.
We're going to have our transportation cabinet officials and our county and city folks still working the flooding and the debris removal at the same time that they're trying to work the snow issue. So my hope is we get the lower side, which could be just a couple of inches, but if we get 6 inches, it's going to really complicate the cleanup.
Officials are warning residents not to drive on flooded roads and to pay attention as more severe weather is on the way.
Joining us now is forecaster Steve Nedlick. Steve, the weather is going to play a major role in recovery efforts. So what are we looking at as this cold weather moves in?
You know, we are going to see some pretty chilly weather as we go throughout this week, and that's because of this cold front that moved through over the weekend, and that's what provided all of that rain and that snow that caused all that flooding. Now, not only did it bring a lot of rain, it also brought colder temperatures, and you can kind of see that at our overnight low dips all the way down into the 15, 16 degree mark, and that's really going to stay pretty consistent as we move throughout the rest of this week. Currently, again, we're sitting at clear skies because this high pressure has moved that cold front out, but we are sitting at 25 degrees. Thankfully, we don't have any rain in the area, which has allowed a lot of our warnings, our flood warnings, in Athens and around Athens to expire, but we do have some warnings along the Ohio River, as we can take a look down here, and those are hopefully going to expire soon as well. As we take a look at tonight, we're going to see lows as low as 12 degrees, and that's not even taking into account these wind chills, so that could get pretty dangerous, and we could get wind chills close to 0 degrees. Taking a look at tomorrow, temperatures don't really rebound much, and we'll have a low in the morning at 14 degrees, so stay tuned for my full weather to find out more.
Thanks, Steve. We are following breaking news out of Canada. 2 adults and 1 child are in critical condition tonight, and 7 others are injured after a Delta flight flipped over at Toronto Pearson International Airport.
Details about the crash are scarce, but video shows the plane landed upside down on the snowy runway. Here's the scene from earlier today. The flight was coming in from Minneapolis and is believed to have flipped over while landing. The FAA says all 80 people on board the flight have been accounted for. American investigators are being sent to help Canadian officials in the investigation.
WOUB is your source for the latest news in Southeast Ohio. So for the latest, go across our region, head to our website, woub.org, or download the WOUB app. New tonight, a Columbus developer pulls its request to rezone an undeveloped lot on Athens' south side. In a letter to city officials, Spire Development says it no longer is interested in rezoning the lot along Pomeroy Road because of opposition from people living nearby. It comes just days before the city council was set to vote on an ordinance changing the lot from an R1 to an R3. The change would allow Spire to build a new 50-unit complex. The proposal received major pushback from residents in the area who say the complex would worsen existing traffic and flooding issues along Pomeroy Road and Richland Avenue. Spire did not rule out the possibility of proposing a new housing complex in Athens, but says at this time it is focusing on work at its other housing complex in the county.
A new person is set to kick off his bid for the Ohio governor's mansion. Starting next week, former Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy will make campaign stops across the state. He'll start in Cincinnati and New Albany next Monday before moving on to Toledo and Strongsville on Tuesday. Ramaswamy says he wants to get rid of Ohio's income tax and make Ohio a universal school choice state. Ramaswamy was formerly a member of Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency before stepping down to run for governor. The Trump administration continues to downsize the federal government, forgetting the Federal Aviation Administration. Hundreds of probationary employees who maintain critical service with air traffic control are being let go. Many of them play a crucial part in maintaining, installing, and inspecting air traffic control communications, radio, and computer systems. The union representing these workers say layoffs started Friday and they could be denied access to the workplace tomorrow. The cuts come less than 3 weeks after a mid-airplane collision near the nation's capital that killed over 60 people. Experts say the crash was a result of shortages in air traffic controllers and problems with the agency's infrastructure. The Department of Government Efficiency says cuts are part of its plan to upgrade the system.
The FAA today, the Internal Revenue Service next. Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency is now targeting the IRS's taxpayer data system. This would mean the department could access the private data of millions of Americans, including tax returns, social security numbers, and banking information. A source familiar with the matter says a software engineer under DOJ is expected to be granted access to the system very soon. Americans are facing an uphill battle when it comes to managing rising debt burdens. In some cases, they have been this overextended since the aftermath of the Great Recession. Ivan Rodriguez has more on the latest credit conditions for American households and tips for paying off debt.
Americans are struggling to pay off their debt.
Nobody should be surprised that debt is rising.
A new report by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York shows all major loan categories are on the rise, with credit card balances topping $1.2 trillion, up more than 7% from the fourth quarter of last year. Matt Schultz with LendingTree says while some higher levels of household debt were to be expected because of inflation, it doesn't mean it isn't troubling.
We found that about a third of people took on debt over the holidays.
Two categories where Americans are struggling to manage their debt: auto loans and credit cards. The share of households becoming seriously delinquent, meaning missing a payment for 90-plus days, are at 14-year highs.
That car payment is often one of the most prioritized when bills come due. And when that one is not being paid, that's probably a sign that other struggles are around as well.
Schultz says there are some steps people can take to get ahead on paying down their debt.
First thing that they should do is create a budget. You can do things like getting a 0% balance transfer credit card or a low-interest personal loan to consolidate some of those loans and bring the interest rates down.
In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Experts say another option is people can call their credit card provider and ask for a lower interest rate on their card. They say in 2024, 76% of people who asked for a lower rate got one, and the average was about 6.5 percentage points, according to the December Lending Tree survey.
Coming up, a new strand of bird flu brings questions about food safety, what experts are saying about the risk of infection, and what you can do to stay safe.
And Valentine's Day may be over, but Kansas City residents are still celebrating for a good reason.
We're checking some weather on Wednesday night. Stay tuned to find out more about that.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, we've got the stuff of collectors' dreams.
I own this since it came out in 1977.
No way!
Yes.
And maybe a couple of nightmares, too.
It's an exceptional image.
She's a beaut. Made out of oilcloth. Yep. Now she can live in your nightmares, too. Yay!
Watch Antiques Roadshow next time from Living History Farms in Urbandale, Iowa.
Tonight at 8 on WOUB.
In this episode, Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard uncover their roots.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa!
Policeman stopped Honcho and another man. The trooper found burglary tools. Oh, here we go.
Your grandfather saved the life of a fellow soldier.
I'm very proud of him.
Your ancestor was captured. It's mind-blowing. Please turn the page.
He was a spy?
I wasn't expecting that.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
Understanding the past gives a sense of the future. This is the first time that anyone has seen this in 2,000 years.
This is amazing.
Well, I'm excited now.
Pompeii is a battle against time.
You think I'm joking, but look at this. It did really happen.
Don't let anybody tell you who you are.
History teaches us to honor the past.
When you look back, you're like, wow, that was pretty special.
This is something that's actually altering the course of history.
You're charged with keeping these stories alive.
We're in for some far more pleasant weather this week as opposed to last week with all that rain. We're in for a lot of sunshine, but unfortunately lower temperatures as a result. We have an area of high pressure over our region, and that's really what's going to give us these nice sunny skies, but it is also what's going to help drop our temperatures. Currently, we're sitting at 25 degrees, so again, a little bit more calm, but no rain or no snow to speak of, so enjoy that while you can. Taking a look, we do have no showers in the area, and that's a welcome sign after the weekend we had that dropped a lot of rain, a lot of snow, and caused a lot of that flooding around these regions. Now, for a majority of the area, we don't have any more flood warnings in effect, but along the Ohio River, we still are watching for that, so be on the lookout for that, but this calm weather will help that. As we take a look here, this high pressure is helping feed some cool temperatures from the north into our area, and that's what's going to help drop us into the teens and possibly single digits, even before factoring wind chill. So our overnight lows could get pretty low. Taking a look at tonight, we're going to have, again, temperatures as low as 12 degrees and partly cloudy skies. Now, another thing with this high pressure is it's applying a lot of wind in our area, so we can see gusts above 20 miles an hour, which again is going to help add to our wind chill values and keep it pretty chilly overnight and in the morning. So give yourself some extra time heading out the door. If you need to start your car earlier, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Tomorrow, again, we have temperatures sitting at 24 degrees, so they don't rebound much as opposed to today. And again, we have that low of 14 degrees. We will have some clouds in the area to help it keep it a little bit warmer, but again, it's going to be pretty chilly. Taking a look at tomorrow, we see a little bit of scattered showers start maybe moving into the area, but nothing to really make note about. And tomorrow night, we start to see that high pressure begin to move out. And this is where it gets a little dicey. As we head into Wednesday, we start to see that high pressure start to move out and really allow us to maybe see some winter weather. And that is remaining to be seen, as we are not sure yet if this is going to allow us to see some snow. But south of Athens, we are going to see some snow. It's just not yet sure where exactly it's going to track. Taking a look, this is Wednesday morning into Thursday morning, or Wednesday afternoon into Thursday morning. This is really what's going to affect our morning commuters, as we are not sure quite yet where it's going to track, but you can see it moves north as we go later into the night and into the early morning. So that is what could impact your morning. And it could also be pretty chilly, so you definitely need to give yourself some time heading out the door and maybe give yourself 20, 30 minutes, as it could get pretty dicey in the morning, as we're not really sure yet, because tracking these kind of storms is a little dicey at this time of year, so we'll know more as we get closer to the date. So maybe tomorrow night, check back. As we look into the rest of our week, once we hit Wednesday, we start to see those possible snow showers in the area. But on Friday, we start to see our temperatures jump back up into the mid to low 30s. So that will be a welcome sign, and possible clouds in the area. So we'll start to see those temperatures jump back up to, seasonal highs, with a high of 44 on Sunday and a high of 46 on Monday. So really look out on Wednesday night into Thursday morning, possible snow showers, but we'll see a gradual increase in temperatures as we move throughout the rest of our week. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, no, not looking forward to the snow, but I saw that little 46
on
next week. Now, it's a little far out, but...
It's a little far out, but it's a welcome sight.
Let's see if we can get like a 50 maybe or something.
That's a lot these days, yeah. We've been looking at 20 degrees.
20 degrees, 20, we had what? We were like -2 like 2 weeks ago?
It's those wind chills all the time.
But at least the sun's out.
Yes, but it's also so cold, so you can't even enjoy the sun, you know?
That's really fair,
Yeah, that's true, but anyway, thank you so much, Steve.
Absolutely.
The CDC says the threat of bird flu to the general public remains low. This, as Ohio sees an increase in the virus, even reporting the state's first human case last week. Mandy Gaither has more on a new strain of the virus that has people concerned about the safety of the food supply.
It's being closely watched. A newer strain of bird flu called D1.1, which has been linked with 2 severe human infections in North America, including 1 death.
Still, even with that, the risk to the human population right now is very low.
It's unclear whether the newer bird flu variant poses a bigger threat to people, but the virus has been detected in cows at least twice. And officials believe the cattle encountered infected birds or their droppings, which could mean it'll be harder to contain and further raise the risk for dairy workers. Right now, the danger of the virus spreading to the food supply remains low, but raw milk should be avoided, says Dr. Donald Dunford with Cleveland Clinic.
We have not seen any human cases related to that, but since raw milk doesn't go through the pasteurization process, which is known to kill bacteria and viruses, there is the potential for transmission with raw milk products.
While it's always important to thoroughly cook food, Dunford says that will also reduce the chances of a virus spreading in eggs and poultry products. And while the U.S. is experiencing a severe flu season right now, he says national data from health officials shows it's not linked to bird flu.
Right now, we are not seeing any cases of bird flu in that surveillance.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Human symptoms of the virus include eye redness and other flu-like symptoms. Officials advise anyone who comes in contact with potentially infected animals to thoroughly wash their hands.
Next in sports, Ohio men's basketball lost in heartbreaking fashion on the road over the weekend. Find out what went wrong and hear from head coach Jeff Bowles when we come back.
It's a momentous struggle between a communist party and Tibetan civilization.
Anyone really caring for Tibetan well-being should care about Tibet being part of China.
People who respected the Dalai Lama are deemed to be enemies.
China believes in order to continue controlling Tibet is to have their own Dalai Lama.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
Asking tough questions to those in power.
There is this consensus that Democrats are somehow out of touch with the voters.
All of us have to do a better job of seeing the very real pain that exists across this country.
What did you make of the high degree of dysfunction within the Republican conference?
I always felt that it was broken.
And covering events as they unfold.
This continues to be a dangerous situation. Almost everyone is either evacuated or lost a home in this fire.
I think we can do a bit better than that.
I thought we might have a tea party.
At least someone's having fun. Part of me needs to believe that everything will be all right.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
This story is mine, and no one is going to tell it but me.
Is she trying to break me?
I think she's wonderful.
Sunday on WOUB.
I was born for duty, not happiness. You are the mother of France. You're stronger than you know.
The economy is hanging by a thread.
Let me help you.
You have no understanding of politics. You have done enough to the crown. Reputation is everything. Destroy ours.
There's danger everywhere. No one can be trusted. I will get us out of this mess.
It was an unbelievably packed sports weekend in Southeast Ohio, so I don't want to waste any time. Starting with Ohio men's basketball, the pressure is on to start collecting wins as the MAC tournament in March are rapidly approaching. The road to the NCAA tournament took the Bobcats to Kent State on Friday night. Slow starts have plagued Ohio all season, but not against the Golden Flashes. It may have snowed in Athens this weekend, but it rained threes the entire first half for the Bobcats. The Golden Flashes wouldn't be silenced for long, though. They fought back to take a 4-point lead into the half. Now fast forward to the late game drama. Sharif Mitchell kicks it out to Elmore James to take the lead. Kent State would answer at the other end, though. Cyan Medley with the and one. He makes the free throw to take a 1-point lead with a minute to go. Ohio down 4 with less than 10 seconds, and Mitchell from way downtown to bring it within 1. Bobcats have the ball back. 2 seconds to go. Mitchell for the win. It's no good. Tough loss, and Mitchell was visibly upset after missing the game winner, but you can't let that distract from his incredible game.
Yeah, I think one play doesn't lose you the game, right? And I think what he did the prior minutes that he played was phenomenal tonight. Got elbowed in the mouth. I think he might have to have stitches, but kept playing through it, and gave us a chance, like I said, at the end.
Really interesting weekend across the MAC as Miami and Toledo were both upset to keep Ohio and Kent State in the mix for one of those top 3 seeds. Now the top 8 teams make the MAC tournament, and if the season were to end today, we could see a rematch between the Bobcats and the Golden Flashes in round 1. Ohio women's basketball celebrated its breast cancer awareness game over the weekend. They took on Buffalo. This clip right here alone told the story of the game. Turnovers and points in transition for the Bulls. The Bobcats turned the ball over a whopping 31 times. They fought hard against the MAC's number 2 team, but with just too many turnovers, the game resulted in a 5th straight loss. Senior night at Bird Arena on Saturday night to open a huge series against number 1 Minot State. Game 1 was an offensive explosion for both teams. Ohio got ahead early and stayed neck and neck all the way through overtime, but the Beavers pulled ahead in the shootout, winning 6-5. Game 2, not nearly as much offense, but you could sense the urgency early on from Ohio needing a win. Freshman Nolan Abraham got the scoring going in the first period. Minot State, though, quickly strung together 3 goals in the second period alone. Ohio's offense couldn't keep up as they dropped their 3rd straight. In high school hoops, the girls' tournament is in full swing. The TVC Ohio champion Athens in the sectional semifinal at Unioto couldn't keep up with the Sherman's fast-paced offense. Look at this up and under layup right here. That is filthy. Athens' season came to a close, but it wasn't just the end of a season. It's the end of an era as legendary head coach Phil Koska is retiring. Koska's looking forward to the retired life.
We'll just rest for a few weeks, and then, I'm going to get my grandkids next weekend. I'm going to spend the whole weekend with them, so I'm excited about that. And that's really what it's all about, is spending time with the family. I mean, they are my family.
It's tournament time for both the boys and girls this week. You won't want to miss any of it. Check out Hardwood Heroes for local basketball coverage at 11 p.m. this Sunday. Let's go ahead and send it back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Grant. Still ahead, a natural phenomena has some sea turtles busting out their best moves. What it is that gets these animals moving with the motion of the ocean.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
If you don't drive it, donate it and support something you use every day.
There are thousands of discoveries. Wow.
This is huge.
This is really exciting.
They'd all disappeared before anyone could get a good look at them, until now.
If you go inside, then you discover the hidden side of Pompeii.
It's not every day you meet the last Nazi art plunder still alive. I had no idea what I was getting into.
Wednesday on WOUB.
It's time to look at our home in a whole new way. Imagine carbon stored in nature on an incredible scale. Looking after it is essential because our future depends on the future of nature.
We now know that Earth's magnetic field is triggering a superpower in sea turtles. Loggerhead sea turtles have the ability to find nesting and feeding areas without landmarks. A new study has shown loggerheads actually memorize the magnetic fields to help them find foods after migrating. Researchers said that captive juvenile loggerheads will dance in a particular movement pattern in response to magnetic cues. The process reminds them where they previously had meals. Huh. Interesting. I dance for food too. I'm going to be so honest. Yeah. Well, it may be the dead of winter, but that's not holding people back from joining one race that will knock your socks off.
A bunch of folks in downtown Kansas City could be seen running around in a pair of their underwear over the weekend, but don't worry, it was all for a great cause. Neurofibromatosis is a genetic disease that affects nerves in 1 out of 2,000 people. The Cupid Undies run raises awareness and donations for research. About 100 runners endured the frigid temperatures, but they say it's all worth it.
We run in our undies because the idea behind it is if they can be uncomfortable for life, we can be uncomfortable for a day.
The run started in 2010 in Washington, D.C., and Kansas City joined in on the event 4 years later.
Yeah, guys, it looked pretty chilly out there on that run, and it's going to be the same way here tonight with an overnight low of 12 degrees and partly cloudy skies. It's also going to be pretty windy, so be on the lookout for wind chills nearing 0. As we look into the rest of the week, we're going to see possible snow showers Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and then as we look into the rest of the weekend, or heading into the weekend, we will see those temperatures gradually start to increase, so that'll be a nice change of pace after what we've had over the past week, week and a half. We're going to have some pretty pleasant weather on Friday through Saturday and Sunday, with those temperatures jumping up almost to 50 degrees by Monday. So be on the lookout for that, and maybe keep any of your plans that you have later in the week so that you can enjoy that time outside and maybe take advantage of it.
Well, I can't wait to get to this nicer weather, especially with the sun coming out.
I know. I'm like, you cannot pay me enough money to do the undies run. As great of a cause it is, I'll just donate. Like, I'll just donate the money. I'm not respectfully running around in the cold in my underwear.
Oh my gosh, what underwear would you even have to pick out?
All right, well.
You'd probably have to buy a whole new one.
I'd wear some long johns because it's so cold. It's so cold.
It is, especially down in Missouri. That's gotta be freezing.
Oh yeah. Well, that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thank you so much for watching.
Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. Have a great night.
Yeah, it'll be freezing.